Well, the state of Georgia, the nation, and the world paying their respects to former President Jimmy Carter. Many are remembering his legacy and the life he lived, reflecting on his journey from a peanut farmer all the way to the White House. Thanks for joining us this hour at 6, everyone. I'm Jamie Worsley.
And I'm Carla Heath Sands. Many know that Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer and President of the United States. But what about the fact that he was Sumter County's school board chairman?
Yeah, WAOB News 10's Caitlin Barker shares more on Jimmy Carter's remarkable journey from South Georgia to Washington, D.C.
Jimmy Carter's legacy and impact spans decades, from his time on the Senate to being the governor of Georgia and making his way to the White House. And through all of his accomplishments, he never forgot Plains, Georgia.
He never forgot where he came from, and he never forgot that whatever a policy or government regulation was, that it affected people and the street level, individuals, and he always kept that in mind.
Before entering politics, Jimmy Carter was a naval officer, peanut farmer, and Sumter County School Board chairman. He launched his political career in the U.S. Senate in 1962. After initially losing the race for Georgia governor in 1966, Carter ran again in 1970 and won. 6 years later, he will become the first and only president from the state of Georgia, winning the presidential election in 1976. Even as the leader of the nation, he never lost his connection to the people.
Once his presidency was over, he continued to do humanitarian type programs and activities. And I could relate to his background as being a peanut farmer because I grew up in South Georgia where I worked on the farms, and I could relate to that part of his life, and that made him a man who was very active in his community and active in his church. That's another thing I liked about him.
Carter championed human rights both domestically and internationally, and he had great success with promoting peace, health, and democracy in many foreign countries. Through all of his accomplishments, Jimmy Carter's work ethic is something to be admired.
And Jimmy Carter was never be called lazy. He cared about people who had no voice. He cared about justice and equity, and he cared about making the world a better place for people.
Everyone I've spoken to tells me that Jimmy Carter's legacy goes beyond words and is something that will live on for many years to come. I'm Caitlin Barker reporting in Plains for WALB, your hometown news source.